The Void Seeker's sensor arrays pulsed with gentle blue light as Captain Naira studied the readings from the uncharted solar system. Her crystalline exoskeleton caught the soft glow of the ship's ambient lighting, creating rainbow patterns across the bridge's curved walls. This was her first solo exploration mission, and she was determined to make it count. "Analysis complete, Captain," announced First Officer Tren, his translucent appendages gliding across the holographic interface. "Third planet shows signs of technological civilization." But he hesitated, mandibles clicking in confusion. "Speak freely, Tren." Naira's antennae twitched with curiosity. After serving together for 5 cycles, she knew that hesitation from her first officer usually meant something interesting. Their energy signatures are peculiar. They've achieved planetary-scale power distribution, basic spaceflight, and there are thousands of artificial satellites in orbit. But we're detecting no quantum field generators, no antimatter reactors, not even basic plasma containment systems. Naira floated closer to the display, her crystalline form refracting the holographic light. How are they powering their civilization? Primarily through electromagnetic induction and primitive fission reactions. They're still using copper wiring for power transmission, Captain. Tren's voice carried a note of disbelief. Science Officer Lyra joined them at the display, her bioluminescent patches pulsing with excitement. But that's what makes it fascinating. Look at these efficiency readings. They're achieving power outputs that should be impossible with such basic technology. Naira studied the data more carefully. The science officer had a point. These readings suggested energy manipulation far beyond what should be possible with electromagnetic systems alone. Any signs of defensive capabilities? "Nothing significant," Tren replied. "We're detecting large metal structures in orbit, but they appear to be simple satellites. No energy weapons, no shield generators." "Interesting." Naira's crystalline form shifted colors slightly, reflecting her thoughtful mood. According to collective protocols, this made the species prime candidates for uplift and integration. Their unusual approach to technology might even offer some unique insights. "Prepare for first contact procedures," she ordered, "but maintain our position behind their moon for now." "Something about these readings doesn't quite add up." "Captain," Lyra interjected, her bioluminescence flickering rapidly, "I'm detecting unusual power fluctuations from those orbital structures. The electromagnetic fields they're generating. They're perfectly aligned in a grid pattern around the planet. Some kind of primitive defense system," Tren suggested, though his tone indicated he didn't really believe it. "No," Naira said slowly, her crystalline form now shifting to a deeper blue of concentration. "Defense systems, even primitive ones, don't need that level of precise alignment. They're building something up there, something we're not seeing." Before she could pursue that line of thought further, a new alert flashed across the bridge's holographic displays. "Captain." Tren's appendages moved rapidly across his interface. "We're detecting an approaching object from the lunar surface. Small, artificial, moving at..." He paused, running the calculations again. "That can't be right." The object, little more than a metal sphere the size of a personal transport, was accelerating at speeds that shouldn't have been possible without quantum propulsion. Yet there it was, crossing the space between the moon and their position in seconds. "Evasive action," Naira ordered, but it was too late. The sphere passed through their supposedly impenetrable quantum shields as if they weren't there, missing their hull by mere meters. The Void Seeker's sensors tracked it as it continued into space, still accelerating. "How?" Tren's mandibles clicked rapidly in agitation. "Our shields didn't even register it. There was no energy signature to deflect." "Because it wasn't an energy weapon." Lyra's bioluminescence had shifted to the bright yellow of sudden realization. It was just a metal sphere, moving very, very fast. A communication request pinged their systems, originating from the planet below. Naira hesitated only briefly before accepting it. A human face appeared on their main display, wearing what appeared to be a formal uniform. "Greetings, visitors," the human said, speaking through what their systems identified as a remarkably sophisticated universal translator. I see you've noticed our lunar mass driver facility. Would you like to discuss peaceful diplomatic relations, or should we demonstrate what happens when we aim these things properly? Naira's crystalline form shifted rapidly through colors of surprise, respect, and finally, amusement. It seemed the collective's technology classification system needed some serious revision. These humans had taken one of the simplest concepts in physics, throwing things really fast, and elevated it to an art form that bypassed even the most advanced defensive systems. "We would be very interested in diplomatic relations," she replied, making a mental note to update the collective's first contact protocols. Sometimes, it seemed, the simplest solutions were the most elegant, and the most dangerous to underestimate. Dr. Hannah Chen stood before the assembled alien delegation in the newly established Lunar Diplomatic Center, trying not to smile at their obvious discomfort with the facility's artificial gravity. The crystalline being's natural state was 0 G, and watching them adjust to Earth normal gravity was like watching cats learn to swim. "As you can see," she continued, gesturing to the holographic display showing Earth's defensive network, "we took a rather different approach to technological development than the collective anticipated." Captain Naira Val's crystalline form shifted through shades of fascination as she studied the diagram. "You focused on perfecting basic principles rather than pursuing more advanced energy technologies. But surely you encountered the same limitations we did, the power requirements alone." "That's where human stubbornness came in handy," Hannah replied, bringing up another display showing the evolution of their electromagnetic acceleration systems. "When we hit power constraints, we didn't abandon the concept. We just got better at power management." Science Officer Lyra floated closer to the display, her bioluminescent patches pulsing with excitement. "These efficiency ratings, you're achieving more with electromagnetic systems than we manage with quantum field generators." "How?" "Necessity breeds innovation," Hannah explained. "We couldn't rely on exotic power sources, so we had to maximize what we had. Our engineers spent decades perfecting superconductor designs, magnetic field geometries, and power distribution systems." "But the velocities you're achieving," First Officer Tren interjected, his mandibles clicking rapidly, "they shouldn't be possible without quantum acceleration." Hannah brought up the specs for their latest mass driver design. "We found that velocity was never really the limiting factor. It was all about energy management and precision timing. Watch this." She initiated a demonstration sequence, and the delegates watched as the lunar facility's sensors tracked a test projectile, accelerating through a series of electromagnetic gates. The object's speed climbed rapidly, quickly approaching a significant fraction of light speed. "The trick," Hannah continued, "isn't just throwing something fast. It's understanding exactly how the electromagnetic fields interact at each stage of acceleration. We developed AI systems specifically to calculate and adjust these interactions in real time." Naira's form shifted to a deep blue of contemplation. "Your species took what we considered a technological dead end and turned it into something that renders our most advanced defensive systems obsolete." "Not obsolete," Hannah corrected, "just incomplete. Your quantum shields are incredibly sophisticated, but they were designed to defend against energy weapons and exotic particle beams. You never considered the need to stop simple physical objects moving at relativistic speeds. Because we assumed no one would continue developing such primitive technology," Lyra added, her bioluminescence flickering with what Hannah had learned was embarrassment. "There's no such thing as primitive technology," Hannah said, pulling up images of ancient human weapons alongside modern mass drivers. "There's only technology that's well understood or poorly understood. We chose to understand the basics so well that we could push them beyond their supposed limits." The demonstration continued, showing increasingly sophisticated applications of electromagnetic acceleration technology. The aliens watched in fascination as Hannah explained how humanity had adapted the principle to everything from planetary defense to space exploration. "Your species," Naira observed, "seems to have a unique gift for finding elegance in simplicity. The collective has spent centuries pursuing ever more exotic technologies, while you've been quietly perfecting the fundamentals. It's not just about the technology, Hannah explained, bringing up a final display showing the collaborative projects already being proposed between human and collective scientists. It's about perspective. Sometimes the best way forward isn't to abandon the old for the new, but to understand the old so well that it becomes something new entirely. As if to emphasize her point, an alert flashed across the main display. The lunar facility's mass driver had just completed another test firing, achieving a new velocity record. The crystalline delegates watched in amazement as the simple metal projectile, accelerated by nothing more exotic than precisely controlled electromagnetic fields, reached a speed that their most advanced quantum drives could barely match. Perhaps, Naira said, her form now shimmering with colors that Hannah's translator identified as respect and anticipation. It's time for the collective to reconsider its approach to technological advancement. We've been so focused on finding new principles that we've forgotten the power of mastering the basics. Hannah smiled, already seeing the potential in combining human expertise in electromagnetic systems with collective quantum technology. That's the beauty of science, Captain. There's always something new to learn, even from what you think you already know. The Joint Technology Integration Facility on Mars buzzed with activity as human and collective scientists worked side by side. The massive dome, constructed in record time through the combination of human engineering and collective quantum materialization technology, housed some of the most ambitious experiments in both species' histories. Dr. Hannah Chen stood at her workstation, surrounded by holographic displays showing simulations of their latest hybrid system. Beside her, Science Officer Laris bioluminescence pulsed with increasing excitement as they watched the energy patterns unfold. There, Hannah pointed to a particular wave formation. See how your quantum field interacts with our electromagnetic acceleration matrix. The resonance is almost perfect. Lyra's appendages danced across her own interface, adjusting variables. The synchronization patterns are unlike anything we've seen before. Your electromagnetic fields aren't just containing our quantum energy, they're amplifying it. More than that, Hannah added, zooming in on a particular data point. They're creating entirely new harmonic frequencies. It's like we've accidentally invented quantum electromagnetic resonance. Across the lab, Captain Naira was deep in discussion with the human military liaison, Colonel Sarah Martinez. Their conversation focused on the tactical implications of their discoveries. The potential applications are staggering, Sarah explained, her hands gesturing at the prototype taking shape in the testing chamber. Combining your quantum field generators with our mass drivers doesn't just make them more powerful, it fundamentally changes how they interact with space-time. Naira's crystalline form shifted through shades of deep thought. You're suggesting we could create weapons that bypass conventional defenses entirely. Not weapons, Hannah interjected, joining their conversation. Tools. Think bigger. She pulled up a new simulation showing a modified version of their hybrid system. What if we use this technology for faster-than-light travel? Our mass drivers provide the initial acceleration, while your quantum fields create a bubble of warped space-time around the vessel. The simulation played out, showing a theoretical spacecraft using their combined technology to achieve velocities that made both human and collective scientists pause in wonder. Impossible. First Officer Trent declared, his mandibles clicking rapidly as he analyzed the data. The power requirements alone would be perfectly manageable. Lyra interrupted, her bioluminescence now pulsing with breakthrough intensity. Look at the resonance patterns. The quantum electromagnetic interaction creates a cascade effect. Each system amplifies the other exponentially. The prototype in the testing chamber hummed to life, its electromagnetic coils glowing with a soft blue light, while the quantum field generators created shimmering patterns in the air around it. This was to be their first full-scale test of the combined technologies. Ready for initial powered-up sequence, Hannah announced, her fingers dancing across the holographic controls. Quantum field stability at 99.8%. Electromagnetic matrix aligned. Initiating quantum field generation, Lyra added, her own appendages moving in perfect synchronization with Hannah's movements. Field coherence optimal. Beginning resonance synchronization. The air in the testing chamber seemed to ripple as the two technologies merged. Sensors across the facility recorded data that caused both human and collective scientists to double-check their readings in disbelief. Energy output exceeding predictions by 300%. Trend reported, his usual skepticism giving way to excitement. Field stability maintaining at. This can't be right. The fields are actually becoming more stable as power increases. It's the resonance effect, Hannah explained, her eyes never leaving the readouts. The technologies aren't just compatible, they're complementary. Each one reinforces and strengthens the other. Naira moved closer to the observation window, her crystalline form refracting the light from the test chamber in mesmerizing patterns. In all our centuries of advancement, we never considered this possibility. We were so convinced that progress meant abandoning simpler technologies that we never explored how they might enhance our quantum systems. And we were so focused on perfecting electromagnetic acceleration that we never imagined how quantum fields might revolutionize it, Sarah added. Looks like both our species had something to learn. The test continued, each moment bringing new discoveries and possibilities. The hybrid system wasn't just meeting their expectations, it was exceeding them in ways that neither species had anticipated. You know what this means, Hannah said quietly to Lyra as they recorded another set of breakthrough readings. This isn't just about weapons or propulsion systems anymore. This technology could revolutionize everything. Power generation, space travel, planetary defense. The real question, Naira interjected, her form now shimmering with colors of both excitement and concern, is whether our species are ready for this level of advancement. This kind of power requires responsibility. Hannah smiled, looking around at the humans and aliens working seamlessly together, each bringing their own unique perspective and expertise to their shared endeavor. I think that's exactly why we needed each other. Your wisdom combined with our innovation. Your advanced technology merged with our mastery of the basics. Together, we're better than either of us could be alone. The emergency alert shattered the pre-dawn quiet at the Mars facility. Dr. Hannah Chen was already running toward the command center when Colonel Martinez's voice came through the facility-wide comm system. All personnel to battle stations. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. Hannah burst into the command center to find organized chaos. Captain Naira's crystalline form pulsed with urgent colors as she coordinated with both human and collective forces. Science Officer Lyra's bioluminescence flickered rapidly as she analyzed incoming sensor data. What's the situation? Hannah asked, sliding into her station. Rogue faction from the outer rim. Sarah explained, her face grim. They've been raiding isolated colonies, but this is their first push into protected space. 6 heavy cruisers, heavily armed with quantum weaponry. They're not responding to hails, Naira added, her form shifting to combat readiness colors. Their weapons are charged, and they're on an attack vector toward Mars. Hannah's fingers flew across her console, bringing up the status of their prototype hybrid defense system. How long until they're in range? 17 minutes, Lyra reported. Their shields are unusual. Multiple overlapping quantum barriers, configured in a way I've never seen before. First Officer Tren's mandibles clicked rapidly as he studied the sensor readings. Those are forbidden configurations. They're using quantum resonance to create virtually impenetrable defensive fields. Even collective heavy weapons couldn't breach them. Good thing we're not using collective heavy weapons, Sarah said, turning to Hannah. Is the prototype ready? Hannah checked the system diagnostics. The hybrid quantum electromagnetic weapon they'd been developing was still technically in its testing phase, but the simulations had been promising. It's as ready as it's going to be. We've never tested it against actual quantum shields, but the resonance principles should work. Should. Tren's mandibles clicked with concern. Welcome to human engineering. Sarah smiled grimly. Sometimes you have to trust the math and take the shot. Naira moved to the central command position, her crystalline form now pulsing with decisive colors. Begin evacuation procedures for non-essential personnel. Bring the defense grid online. Dr. Chen, Colonel Martinez, the prototype is your show. Hannah and Sarah took their positions at the weapon control station. Around them, the command center hummed with activity as both species worked in perfect coordination, preparing for battle. Multiple missile launches detected, Lyra announced. High-yield quantum warheads. Impact in 12 minutes. Initiating quantum field generators, Hannah called out, her hand steady on the controls. The prototype hummed to life, its electromagnetic coils beginning their precisely timed dance with the quantum field emitters. Field synchronization at 98.9%, Sarah reported. Electromagnetic acceleration matrix charging. Power output nominal. The raiders were closing fast, their confidence evident in their aggressive approach. They had no way of knowing they were about to encounter something entirely new. Enemy vessels entering optimal firing range in 30 seconds, Tren announced. Their shields are at maximum power. Hannah watched the energy readings climb as their hybrid weapon reached full power. The quantum electromagnetic resonance was stronger than they'd ever achieved in testing, the two technologies singing together in perfect harmony. Target locked on lead vessel, Sarah confirmed. Ready on your mark, Captain. Naira's form shifted to colors of resolve. You may fire when ready. Hannah took a deep breath and initiated the firing sequence. The prototype released its payload, a simple tungsten projectile wrapped in a quantum field and accelerated by electromagnetic forces to near-light speed. The effect was instantaneous and spectacular. The quantum-wrapped projectile created a cascade of resonance patterns as it struck the lead raider's shields. For a split second, the overlapping quantum barriers tried to adapt, but the unique frequency of their hybrid weapon had created something the shields had never encountered. The projectile passed through the shields as if they weren't there, its kinetic energy enhanced by the quantum field. The lead vessel's hull breached explosively, secondary explosions rippling through its structure. Direct hit. Lyra's bioluminescence pulsed with excitement. Enemy vessel's quantum core is destabilizing. Their shield configuration is completely disrupted. The remaining raiders broke formation, their confidence shattered by the destruction of their flagship. Their supposedly impenetrable shields had failed against this unknown weapon. Message from the raider fleet, Tren announced. They're requesting surrender terms. The command center erupted in cheers, human and collective voices joining in celebration. Hannah felt a scaled appendage on her shoulder and looked up to see Lyra's bioluminescence pulsing with pride. It seems, the science officer said, that the combination of human and collective technology is even more effective than we anticipated. Hannah nodded, already noting improvements they could make to the system. This is just the beginning. Think of all the other applications we could develop. Space exploration, energy production. Always looking forward, Sarah smiled. That's what I love about working with scientists. The rest of us are still celebrating this victory, and you're already planning the next breakthrough. Naira's form shifted to colors of satisfaction and anticipation. Perhaps that's the greatest lesson we've learned from humanity. It's not just about having advanced technology. It's about never stopping our drive to improve it. 1 year after the Mars incident, the Great Hall of the Collective hummed with anticipation. The crystalline architecture of the chamber reflected the assembled being's bioluminescence, creating a symphony of light that danced across the vaulted ceiling. Dr. Hannah Chen stood beside Captain Naira Val, both preparing to address the collective council about the implications of their joint technological achievements. Nervous? Naira asked, her form shifting through subtle shades of reassurance. A little, Hannah admitted, adjusting her translator. It's not every day you tell an advanced civilization they need to fundamentally rethink their approach to technological development. The council chamber's doors opened, revealing the assembled leaders of the collective, their crystalline forms radiating with the accumulated wisdom of centuries. Among them sat several human representatives, their presence a testament to how much had changed in just 1 year. Science Officer Lyra and Colonel Martinez joined them at the presentation platform, carrying the latest data from their continuing research. The success against the raiders had been just the beginning. Their hybrid technology had spawned dozens of breakthrough applications across multiple fields. Honored Council, Naira began, her form pulsing with formal colors. We come before you today, not just to report on our progress, but to propose a new understanding of technological advancement itself. Hannah stepped forward, bringing up a holographic display that filled the chamber. It showed the evolution of their hybrid systems, from the first simple experiments to their latest achievements. For centuries, she said, her voice carrying clearly through the vast space, the collective has pursued advancement through increasingly exotic technologies. You sought to transcend basic physical principles in search of greater power. And humanity, in our own way, did the opposite. We dove deeper into those basic principles, refining and perfecting them. The display shifted to show their latest breakthrough, a hybrid drive system that combined quantum fields with electromagnetic acceleration in ways that neither species had imagined possible. But the real breakthrough, Lyra continued, her bioluminescence pulsing with academic excitement, wasn't in the technology itself. It was in the realization that true advancement doesn't come from abandoning old principles for new ones, but from understanding how they can work together. Sarah brought up tactical data from their recent joint exercises. The raiders' defeat wasn't just about superior firepower. It was proof that combining different technological approaches creates something greater than the sum of its parts. The council chamber filled with thoughtful colors as the assembled leaders considered the implications. One of the eldest council members, their crystalline form ancient and complex, spoke up. You are suggesting, the elder's translator conveyed, that we have been limiting ourselves by pursuing only the most advanced solutions. That true progress lies in the integration of all levels of technological understanding. Exactly, Hannah confirmed. Every principle, from the most basic to the most exotic, has untapped potential. The key is learning how they can complement each other. Naira stepped forward again, her form now radiating the colors of conviction. We propose establishing a new joint technology integration initiative, not just between humans and the collective, but open to all spacefaring species. A place where different approaches to science and technology can come together and create new possibilities. The chamber erupted in discussion, colors shifting rapidly as council members debated the proposal. Hannah watched with a mixture of hope and apprehension until she noticed something remarkable. The patterns of light reflecting through the chamber were creating unexpected harmonics in the crystalline architecture. Just like their hybrid technology, the combined light was producing something new and beautiful. Look, she whispered to her companions, pointing to the effect. Even here, in this chamber, we're seeing it. Different forms of energy, different approaches, creating something neither of us could achieve alone. The council elder raised their form, commanding attention. We have seen the truth of your words not just in your achievements, but in how our species have grown together. The collective has existed for millennia, but we had forgotten one of the most fundamental principles of the universe, that diversity breeds strength. The elder's form shifted to colors of formal declaration. The Joint Technology Integration Initiative is approved. Furthermore, we propose a new classification system for civilizations, one that measures not just their technological advancement, but their ability to understand and integrate different levels of scientific principles. As the chamber filled with colors of approval and celebration, Hannah felt Lyra's appendage on her shoulder. The science officer's bioluminescence pulsed with what had become a familiar pattern of friendship. You humans, Lyra said softly, taught us something we had forgotten in our rush to advance. Every technology, every principle, every approach has value. The true measure of advancement isn't in abandoning the old for the new, but in understanding how everything connects. Hannah smiled, watching as human and collective representatives already began discussing plans for the new initiative. And you taught us that even the most basic principles have depths we hadn't imagined. Together, we're not just advancing technology, we're advancing understanding itself. Above them, the combined light continued to dance through the crystalline chamber, creating patterns that neither species could have created alone, a fitting symbol for the future they would build together.